Hello, welcome. This class is Comeback Yoga's Gentle Yoga and Meditation. It's about 45 minutes long. If you're familiar with Comeback Yoga, I'm glad you made it here. And if you don't know Comeback Yoga, we're a nonprofit and we offer yoga and meditation classes to people who are serving or who have served in the US military and to their friends and family. And we're mostly in Colorado. And if you go to our website, comebackyoga.org, you can find out where all our classes are. And if you want to join in an in person class or do some of our other things available to you, please do that. Our staff's amazing and they'd love to help you. This is my cat. She'll go away a little bit. She gets bored and goes and does cat things. But, we'll start out with maybe you have a cat or dog or a pet joining you, or a person, or maybe you're on your own. She gets cute. Um, but whatever your circumstance, um, you can practice. You can practice with someone. You can practice with um, under any circumstances. You can meditate under any circumstances. Pretty much, um, it's all just a matter of degree, giving yourself time. Um, Meditation doesn't have to be so formal. It can be, yeah, she's a cutie. So meditation is what we'll start out with. So let's find our comfortable seat, as comfortable as possible, and you can lean against a wall. If you've got a wall, that's fine. You don't have to fold up your legs like this. You can have your legs sticking out. I'm just trying to give you some ideas for options. Sometimes people stick one leg out. Depends on how your knees feel. So as comfortable as possible and supported with a tall spine. And we'll put one hand inside the other and roll through your shoulders, pull your chin back a little bit, breathe in and breathe out. You can have your eyes open or closed, doesn't matter. The first thing you might start to notice is your physical body. So you might notice that you want to shift or adjust or change. Then the next thing you might notice is your thoughts. You might notice that you're having a lot of thoughts, that your mind is kind of jumping around. Um, that's normal. As soon as you become still, your mind sometimes starts to race. So give your mind something to do while you're noticing your breathing, your inhales and your exhales. Say to yourself, I'm inhaling, I'm exhaling. Super simple. Just gives your mind something to do. Give it a job. So breathe in and match your thoughts with your breathing. Breathe in and say, I'm inhaling, and exhale and say, I'm exhaling. You don't have to say it out loud, just to yourself. It might seem kind of boring, might seem kind of silly. And it might be kind of hard to do to keep your mind just focused on your breathing. That's all normal too. Just keep returning to I'm inhaling, I'm exhaling. And every time your mind starts to wander, just give it a gentle reminder, hey, we're doing this right now. I'm inhaling, I'm exhaling. And you can take your hands and rub your hands together. Blink your eyes open if they were closed. We'll move our spine in all the spines in all the directions. So first we'll rotate. You can put your hands on your opposite leg, turn, and then you can do some lateral flexion. It's just a little side bend, one side and the other side. And we'll do regular flexion, that's rounding your spine, rounding your back, and extension, that's straightening up and giving yourself a back bend. And there's one more direction of your spine that people don't always think about. It's lengthening your spine, stretching it out up its natural curves and softening into its natural curves. So let's do it all again. You're turning and turning and do a side bend, round your back, open your chest, and lengthen up and soften. Let's do one more round of those. So you're turning. As you're turning, slow it down a little bit this time. And not just your spine, but feel the muscles in your torso, the muscles in your core, all the muscles helping you turn your trunk and move your body in this way. Let's find movements in our shoulders. You can take one arm across, turn your palm up, take your arm across out to the side, palm down. Turn your thumb down and put the back of your hand behind you. Bring your arm out in front and palm facing in. Take your other arm around it and wrap it around. Find all those movements in your other arm. Reach across and palm up. Turn your thumb down. Back of your hand comes behind you. Then wrap under. Other arm is on top. This is called eagle arms. And release. Then put the backs of your hands on your hips or behind you. Keep one arm around behind you. Take your other arm out and up and over. And put your palm on the top of your head and on the back of your head, then maybe the back of your neck. And then you can kind of wiggle your hands towards each other. Um, on your back, you don't have to touch your hands together. Um, and keep your head up and your spine long. It's called cow face arms. And bring your arms out of cow face, roll through your shoulders, and put both hands behind you again. And your other arm comes up and around, top of your head, back of your head, then wiggling your hands towards each other. Keep your spine long and your head up. And bring your arms out in front of you again. Roll through your shoulders. Let's move through some movements in your hip joint. You stick one leg out in front of you and roll on your heel to your pinky toe side of your foot and to the big toe side of your foot. Rock. And take your foot across and let your leg wing forward and back. And take your foot on the floor and let your knee wing in towards the inside of your knee. And we'll switch legs. First, just let your foot come to the floor and rock your foot from pinky toe side to the big toe side. And walk your foot over to pinky toe side and let your knee come up and move down. And walk your foot out a little bit and let your knee wing, excuse me, let your knee wing in towards center and back up. Okay, stick your legs out in front of you and find a tall spine. This is the staff pose. And soften it up. Let's find, this is called the seated head to knee pose. We'll put hands on either side of your extended leg, one knee is bent, and tilt your torso. The tilt is important. You might be tempted to round your back, but see if you can keep your spine long. And it's going to mean that you don't go down as far. And it's okay. So you're focusing on the stretch of the back of your leg that's extended. You can keep your knee a little bit bent. That helps the stretch, helps facilitate the stretch. Breathe in, breathe out. And lift up. Let's find the other side. One knee's bent, and your other leg's long. You can square your pelvis and put your hands on either side of your extended leg and try to tilt rather than round. Rounding looks like this. Tilting looks like this with your spine long. And it does put more intensity in the stretch of your leg that's extended. Feel free to bend your knee more, to tilt less. Focus on how it feels rather than how it might look, because how it looks doesn't matter. You're breathing in and breathing out. And lift up. Let's try bound angle pose. Both feet together, knees pointing out to the sides. You can kind of wiggle your sit bones back a little bit. And if Your knees might be up a little bit higher. You can hold on to them with your elbows. Or maybe your knees come down towards the floor. Where your knees are doesn't matter. You're just giving yourself this opportunity for stretch and try lengthening and tilting and the difference between tilting and rounding. You want to tilt. This is putting stretch on your hip joint. And we'll lift up. Let's come into a position called downward facing dog. Downward facing dog is basically a triangle made out of your body. A lot of times you can do it like this with your hands and feet on the floor and your hips pointing up to where the wall and the ceiling meet. You can also do shins on the floor and arms outstretched, or you could have your forearms on the floor. There's lots of different ways you can do downward facing dog, is the short version. And just choose a way that seems like is best for you. Breathe in, breathe out. And you might return to that exercise, that meditation exercise we did at the beginning of class. Whenever you have a couple of breaths, whenever you have a little bit of time to spend in a pose, you might return to that. I'm inhaling, I'm exhaling. Keep returning your mind to your practice. Keep sticking with your observation of your breath and keep breathing. And from downward facing dog, we'll bring ourselves into a low lunge. You can bring your knees to the floor and step your right foot forward. And once you step your right foot forward, you're already in the low lunge. You can stay right like this. There are a couple different things you can do here. You can lean forward. You could put a hand on the floor. You could, if you decide you don't want your back knee on the floor, you could lift your back knee. And this is a high lunge, but still, if you'd rather be in a high lunge rather than a low lunge, if for whatever reason you don't want to have your back knee on the floor, then this is fine. So either way, we're doing the lunge. And the focus here is stretching the front of your hip of your leg that's back. So you're stretching out the front of this leg. You can do this while your back knee is down or your back knee is up, either way. Keep stretching, keep breathing, of course. And we'll bring ourselves back to downward facing dog. Any variation. Take at least 5 inhales and exhales in your downward facing dog. You're bringing yourself into the low lunge on the other side. Now it's your left foot forward. You can put your hand on the floor to support your low lunge or your high lunge if you're standing up. And focus on it's the front of your leg that's in the back. Think about your muscles that are inside here, stretching and square your hips and breathe. Find this stretch in your body. So either way, if you're up standing on your feet or if you're on your back knee, you're stretching, breathing. Your arms can just be down. Just focus your attention on your lower body.